Hi lovelies and welcome to the Witch's Cookery. What can you see in today's Green Witch vlog? Well, I'm going to take you on a wonderful spring picnic, not of course without first baking a herb-loaded, most delicious kitchen witch pull-apart bread. And I have to introduce you to the newest member of my family. We'll take a slightly unexpected but very interesting detour into Slavic folklore and ancient Russian burial rituals. Next I have a bit of green witchery and craftiness going on for you. And last but not least, I want to announce a very special something. There's also going to be a magical giveaway. Are you excited? I'm excited. Let's go. Spring has officially sprung. Trees are sprouting their first green leaves. The shrubs are flowering. The birds do their thing, and meadows and forests are now the best free and healthy pantry one could wish for. It is time to harvest young spring herbs for consumption, as they are now chock full of fresh energy, nutrients and magical potential. And if you are in the business of picking the stingy type right now with their tiny leaves, they're not that stingy quite yet, so you can get like a really lovely nettle salad or tea. So I thought I'm going to show you how I work with all these fresh herbs and bake them into the most delicious little pull-apart bread that is ideal for a picnic or go great on a side with a wonderful spring salad. And if you are experiencing spring right now too, I would absolutely encourage you and just see what you can find. It doesn't matter if you're out in the countryside or if you're in the city. Weeds find their way everywhere. And most of the herbs that we can find and that are full of all that goodness are actually considered weeds, like dandelion, daisies. Then we have, of course, nettles, wild garlic, or ramson, how it's sometimes called. And that is also what I'm using here. It has the most delicious, slightly sharp, herby taste. And if you mix that with a little bit of butter, garlic, salt and pepper, you can make the best herb-infused butter. But not only that, we're actually going to give that in a lovely little yeast dough that we will then pop in the oven for about 40-50 minutes at 180 degrees and have our witches' cottages filled with the smell of homemade love. As always, I linked you the recipe in the description box below, and you can use any spring herbs or edible flowers that you can find to make this, just as a way to encapsulate the spirit of the season and enjoy it with all your senses. Like every time I'm baking with yeast, you just have to remember to keep the ingredients on the warmer side and also to let it rest in between so it can rise. But for the rest, this recipe is really easy to replicate. And you'll get the most delicious hearty snack that just tastes like spring. Most of you know that very early on when I started this channel, I made it my mission to really form a witchcraft community, because I know so many people are out there and I feel kind of alone in their practice and that they don't really have like-minded people around them. And I already had such great experiences and could witness people like forming friendships in my retreats and the online workshops that I host on a monthly basis. But one thing that really stood out to me were the amount of people that would comment or write me, or even in the workshops say that where they lived there were no other witchcraft practitioners. And just statistically speaking, this cannot be true. Everything witchy, magical, all the nature spiritualities are having a huge comeback at the moment. So there's actually a lot of people that are interested in them. However, just like probably you too, you cannot tell who is a witch and who is not just by looking at them. You would actually have to strike up a conversation and then go like deep into your own belief and their belief and all that jazz. So I thought to myself, why not have some sort of like visible sign that someone is interested in the magical arts without it being like overtly like, you know, pentagram or something. Don't want to give your boss or your hyper religious aunt a heart attack. So as per usual, I took it in my own hands to design something like that. Yes, you have guessed correctly, I am actually coming out with magical merch. This is the lovely hoodie I designed, which says witch. I mean, if you guys keep making fun of my German accent, I had to do something with that. Giving you a little bit of Capricorn energy with the earth element symbol. And to be fair, it could also just be a brand name to anyone unknowing. The sweater you saw me wearing before, Wicked, in many ways is now also available for you to purchase on my website. I'm gonna have all the links down below, and I actually already had it work. I did a kindergarten run before wearing it, and a mom that never ever spoke to me before stopped and she was like, "That's a really cool sweater." So obviously, as one does, I Instagram stalked her afterwards, and her bio says witch. Time to make a new friend. And of course, I also had to design something for the little witchlings in your life. Magical apparel for all your crotch goblins and the loin fruits. The perfect gift from any witchy aunt. Organic cotton, recycled, and of course in beige, so it fits in every lifestyle, regardless if you're now a sad beige mom or if you allow a pop of color in your children's life. So for now I have these 3 designs available in different colors and a variety of sizes, shipped in Europe, in the UK, in the US, in Canada, and where I could, I tried to select products that were like eco-friendly or recycled. They're also very high quality, nice and warm for a night at the bonfire or for a spring morning foraging in the forest or just for lounging at your couch or, you know, doing the school run. I've also tried to keep the prices as low as it was possible. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. If you end up buying your witchy leisure uniform and happen to have a picture, please send it over on Instagram or tag me in that. I would love to see. I have some really cool news because I'm giving away one of these magical jumpers. All you have to do is to hop over on Instagram and follow my account, which is linked in the description box underneath that video. Please be aware there are scammers out there using my name and my pictures. Don't fall for them. The only account that I own is the one that is linked here. Over there you'll find a post for the giveaway. Underneath it, just comment what quote, word or item you would like to see on a piece of magical merch and tag 2 people that you suspect of witchcraft. The winner will be announced on Walpurgisnacht, which is the 30th of April, and I wish you all good luck. Spring is such a magical time full of hope, potential, and of course the miracle of the reawakening life after winter's cold. So I wanted to share my favorite bit of spring magic with you. For Ostara, I met with some of my Patreons over on Zoom and we did a ritual together. We all thought of a mindset, habit, idea, relationship, feeling, or really anything else that we would like to reawaken with the spring sun. We each designed a sigil based on that, and then I went ahead and merged the individual sigils into a group one. I painted it on a pot to tie it to our energies and intentions, and then went ahead and planted one seed for each participant. Every time I watered that plant, I also sent good energy and wishes out to everyone involved. Seed magic is such a powerful one. In this tiny, inconspicuous thing lies the blueprint and so much potential to grow into a huge, lush plant full of beauty and use. And it is a great reminder that even if you cannot see it yet and it almost seems unbelievable, with love, care, TLC and patience, you can grow big things from barely anything. The first violets are here, and I am so going to infuse my sugar with those. Oh, hello there, Mr. Dandelion. You are going to turn into a salad for tonight. YouTube friends, meet my avian friends. Still have a little bit of trouble keeping them apart, but I will try my best to introduce you to the flock. The small one just over there is the lovely Miss Marple. She's the tiniest and shyest of them all. So this one my son named. Her name is Chicaletta, and all the other fellow caregivers here may now take an educated guess as to what my son's favorite TV show is. the beautiful Petunia, also named by my son. And last but not least, the leader of the pack and the most unfrightful, if that is a thing amongst chickens, is Baba Yaga. So yes, I finally did it and got chickens, fulfilling one of my biggest cottage witch dreams. And it's actually the most fulfilling and lovely thing to come out here in the morning with my coffee when the sun is just rising above the houses of the village, and then just spend a little bit of time with the chickens happily coming out of their coop and, you know, making their chicken sounds. And it's very, very relaxing. But obviously that was not the only reason why I got chickens. Another big bonus obviously is the eggs. Hello, with all the baking I do. But it definitely did also for me have a spiritual component in a way, because this year I really wanted to focus more on reconnection with the natural world, living more cyclical and just getting more in tune and in touch again with what is around me. I feel like in our modern day life we're very much removed from the natural cycles of nature. When we want anything, food, drink, meat, clothing, we just go to the store, we buy it there, we take it home, then we have it, and then when we don't want it anymore, we don't need it anymore, or it goes bad, we throw it away, right? And that only kind of allows us to see and also control a very, very small part of some sort of cycle that is happening here, or some sort of process that is happening here. We have control over what we buy and what we do with it. We do not have control over everything else that goes into that. Since I'm actually having a little bit of backyard space, I thought, hey, let's start small. This seems like a good project to be in. I'll take care of an animal, my lovely chickies here. I give them a wonderful life, I give them wonderful food and shelter, protect them from the elements and from all the animals that want to eat them so badly. In return, they give me the eggs, which are unfertilized anyway. So I kind of like give something to nature and nature gives something to me. And just like that, I fully put myself into that specific symbiosis with nature again. Obviously, you do not need chickens in order to reconnect with nature. There are many other ways where you can reclaim one of those natural cycles or natural symbiosis. Are you pecking at me? Symbioses. That could also look like starting to grow your own herbs on your balcony or windowsill that you use either in the kitchen or for your spell work. Or if herbs seems too daunting, you can even like just do something little as microgreens or sprouts. You only need like a mason jar and water for that, and that's basically it. And I feel that reteaches a lot of appreciation and gratitude and respect for nature and for the animals or the plants in it, because you know how much effort, how much care, how much time goes into something, rather than just purchasing it from somewhere and then consuming it without it being a two-way street. Hi, Chicky. Oh, they're so cute. Oh. I still don't dare to pick them up. Have you seen their claws? They look like dinosaurs. One of the animals most closely related to T-Rex. Scientific fact. Or it can be things like taking a walk outside and enjoying what you see, but then also like on your way picking up the trash that is left there. Kind of give that good feeling back to your surrounding, the nature, the environment. Now I quickly wanted to tell you a little bit more about the naming of my chickens. You might already have heard Baba Yaga is the leader of the flock, and that name actually came to me because of the story. I'm gonna give a quick recap of who Baba Yaga is for the ones that don't know yet. It's basically a folk figure from Slavic Russian folk tales, and she's considered to be some sort of witch, and she's quite feral actually. So she travels per means of mortar and pestle, and I know now you're thinking about, wow, she's really tiny, but I'm actually talking about mortar and pestle for grain, which is quite big. And she lives in a hut that stands on chicken feet. Her nose is so big that it touches the ceiling, and one of her legs is only bone. And she steals, cooks and eats mostly badly behaved crotch goblins. Now, on one of my retreats, I actually met a wonderful couple that told me a little bit more about the backstory and the historic origins of that tale that I want to share with you. So why does Baba Yaga live in a hut on chicken feet? What's up with her nose and that bony leg of hers? Well, apparently back in the days, it was quite common in certain parts of Russia to bury people across the ground, that either just because of a spiritual belief or because of simple things like a frozen ground or floodings. Especially the Mokshas, which is a Mordvinian ethnic group in central Russia, were known to have practiced burying their shamans that way, usually in forests which were considered the places of the spirits. So they went ahead and sort of constructed wooden tables in the middle of the wood made from logs of trees, and on that they would lay the dead body and then enclose it with more wood. So the deceased were basically barred on these stilts, which arguably could look like chicken feet. Now Baba Yaga's bone leg also makes much more sense, because obviously it's talking about a carcass. And also the point about her nose touching the ceiling does make much more sense when we're talking about a dead person laying with a face towards the top of the casket.